Hey, what is good, YouTube? It's your boy Supreme Latios14, and welcome to another installment of my Pokemon Unite Deep Dive series, where we take a look at a Pokemon, talk about it in full depth, and talk about whether it is worth purchasing with your AOS coins. So, before we get to this Pokemon, I just want to apologize about what happened before, if you guys haven't been caught up to date. The last stream I did this past Monday, unfortunately, was dealing with a lot of lag and I had to end it early. So, if you guys already know, I'm going to be putting streams on hold for a little while until I figure out the issue with the Wi-Fi once and for all. Because I want to keep streaming, but I want to make sure I have good, consistent Wi-Fi so I can be able to bring you guys more streams. So, unfortunately, streams are going to be slowed down for a little bit, but I will do my best to try to bring them back as soon as possible. So, I apologize if you guys heard that noise in the background. But I'll do my best to bring those back as soon as possible. But in the meantime, I'm gonna bring you guys some more content with videos and shorts. So stay tuned for that. So, and we're starting out with this one. We have a deep dive series here, and today we're going to be going over a Pokemon that I've been playing, and that is of course Tsareena. Now, Tsareena is an interesting Pokemon that we got to talk about because Tsareena has been going through a lot of nerfs, honestly. And this is a Pokemon that, when it first released, this Pokemon was an absolute monster. It was an absolute demon. Now, I wasn't playing at the time when Tsareena actually released. There was a campaign in which I believe once you log in, you were able to just get Tsareena for free just by logging in. I think I could be wrong. Somebody correct me in the comments if I'm incorrect about that. But yeah, Tsareena is a pretty cool Pokemon. Um, Back in the day, this Pokemon was seen on almost every team. And I can see why, because this Pokemon was absolutely really strong. It had insane defense. It has some really insane effects. It has some pretty strong attacks and such like that. Nowadays, Tsareena has dealt with some more nerfs, and we're gonna go ahead and talk about this Pokemon and talk about whether it is worth using with your AOS coins and all that good stuff. And the off chance that you don't have, if you didn't play at the time where you were able to obtain Tsareena with that campaign before when it first dropped. So if you guys do enjoy these type of videos, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe if you haven't, and of course hit the bell so you guys will be notified whenever I post videos, post shorts, or whenever I do stream, whenever I get that going. So the latest nerf to Tsareena was that it did get a defense and special defense nerf, honestly. So its defenses are a bit more lower than it was before. So it got a cooldown increase on Stomp, and then Grassy Glide's shield effect was weakened. But we're going to talk about all that a little bit later. So, Tsareena, of course, as you already know, is an all-rounder, and it is an all-rounder, but it feels like more of an attacker to an extent, of course, when it comes to this Pokemon. So don't mind this build. I was just running a few tests to see what I can use with Tsareena. Chance I was just testing out a couple things. But anyways, let's go ahead and talk about this Pokemon's basic attack is passive, which the passive is going to be something that's going to be really important to talk about as we talk about this Pokemon. So let's get into it. So Tsarena's basic attack doesn't really do as much. It's not really that big of a deal, but basically when you get your boosted attack, it lunges at the opposing Pokemon, dealing damage and then lowering its defense for a short time, which is pretty cool because you can actually charge in on an opposing Pokemon, do damage to it, and then lower its defense. So you're basically using your basic attack, you get your boosted attack, and once you get your boosted attack and you hit the enemy with a boosted attack, it lowers the defense for a short time, and then you can really dish out some really good damage with this Pokemon after you lower its defense. So you want to take advantage of that as often as you can with Tsarena's basic attack. Now let's go ahead and talk about the ability. So when you have Blue Sweet, you'll have Oblivious, which will reduce duration of hindrances. Same with Steenie when you evolve into Steenie, but Tsareena is the one that's going to be the most important that we have to talk about because this is what makes Tsareena an absolute crazy monster. What makes Tsareena really, really strong, and what I think Tsareena is still pretty good. Not as super dominant as it was before, but it is still pretty good. So Queen's Majesty basically has the hindrance. When a hindrance is inflicted on the Pokemon, decreases the duration of its effect. So basically, when you get a hindrance on this Pokemon, it reduces the amount of duration of the Queening of this ability. So, and then after using any combination of 3 boosted basic attacks or moves, and then the next move used will apply the move's Queen Majesty buff effect to the Pokemon. So basically, after you use any 3 boosted basic attacks or moves, you basically get your next attack afterwards will have a Queen Majesty effect. Basically, whatever, if you're using triple Axel, Stomp, Grassy Glide, or Chop Kick, basically, once you have the Queen Majesty buff active, basically, you'll know when you get that, because it's going to be a little bit of a bar that you'll see. Once it's full, you'll get the Queen Majesty effect will activate. Basically, will increase the effects of your attacks with this abilities, with this passive. So this is the important part, because this is what makes Tsareena really, really strong. What made it absolutely dominant before back then, and it's still pretty good. There are still some people that play Tsareena that do really well with it. So Tsareena is still a pretty good Pokemon. You just have to know how to. You have to be more careful with it. You can't really just play super aggressively with it, because a full team can probably a really strong, smart team can definitely put it down very easily. But we're gonna go ahead and talk about his moves now. So always keep in mind, if you ever play Tsareena, you gotta always keep in mind about the Queenly Majesty passive, because this is gonna be the most important thing in Tsarena's kit that makes it really, really good. So just want to make sure you guys are well aware on that. So now let's go ahead and go into progression here, so you guys can see. So this is a Pokemon that can do good well in lane, because you really don't need to play jungle with this Pokemon. You could, if you really want to get to Tsareena fast and really put on some pressure. Like, if you're not stacking with Tsareena, I could see possibly maybe playing this Pokemon jungle, because Tsareena is pretty strong. But I probably would recommend playing this Pokemon like in lane, because you want to try to stack to get HP, attack, or whichever one of those two you're gonna be aiming for with this Pokemon. So, because once you start out as Bone Sweet at level 1, and then you evolve to Steamy at level 4, and then as Tsareena at level 6. So this is a Pokemon that doesn't really need the jungle. It could definitely do okay as a jungler, because it does have those really strong effects with Queenie Majesty, which I think makes it really good. But you have to also consider the fact that it could also do just as well on lane. You really don't need jungle to make this Pokemon work. Like, you could do it, but I don't think it's really recommended. So, and this is an all-rounder, basically means, so it's going to have some really good offense and endurance. So this is going to be a Pokemon that's going to be able to survive the fight and do damage in return. So, excuse me. Anyways, now let's go ahead and go into moves. So at level 1 or 3, you have a choice between Razor Leaf and Rapid Spin. So let's talk about these moves. So Razor Leaf is a move that you just fire leaves in a designated direction, dealing damage to opposing Pokemon. And then the critical hit rate of this move is higher than that of basic attack. So basically, this move can crit as an early game crit that can actually put in some work, which is pretty cool. So I think that's pretty dope. I think it's really cool. It definitely is a really good move to start. And then Rapid Spin is a move. It's a good move. It's like a dash, and then when it hits, it raises the user's movement speed. So it gives you a movement speed increase as you hit this move. So I think that's pretty good, pretty cool. So both these moves I think are really, really nice. So that's something to take note of that. Now, when you get to level 5, of course, keep in mind, you do evolve into Steamy at level 4. Once you get to level 5, you have a choice between Triple Axel and Stomp. So let's go ahead and talk about these. So this is going to be something that you may want to pay attention. So we'll start with Stomp. So each of these moves are going to all have effects, and then the Queen Majesty effect is going to be at the bottom, which we're going to go ahead and talk about that and how it works. So Stomp is a move that has the user jump high and attack opposing Pokemon with his feet, and then when the move hits, it deals damage and then leaves it unable to act for a short time. So it stuns him for a short period, and then the Queen Majesty effect basically, so when you get the Queen Majesty buff, in addition to it being able to do damage and making him unable to act for a short time, the move will also restore your HP a bit when this move hits. So basically, when you hit this move, while you have the Queen Majesty effect on you, you're actually healing yourself a bit too as you're using this move. So that's something to take note of. So you do damage, you make them unable to act for a short time, and then you're able to restore your HP as well. And then when you upgrade to level 10, it increases the damage dealt by this move. So at level 10, you get the upgrade, so you're doing more damage with this move. So that's pretty cool. Now let's talk about Triple Axel, which is a move I think I've been utilizing a bit more with Tsareena. I like this move more than Stomp. I might give Stomp a try in the future, but this is why I've been playing Triple Axel. So this move has to use a spin to kick 3 times in the designated direction, dealing damage to opposing Pokemon. The damage dealt increases each time a kick hits, and basic attack speed is increased for a short time. After this move ends by an amount based on the number of landed kicks. So basically how this works is every time you hit a kick, the damage that this move does basically increases basically. So you're able to do a bit more damage with each kick. So basically, the more of these kicks you can hit, the more damage you're able to do with the other two kicks basically. So imagine this combined with Tsarena's boosted basic attack, which would actually reduce the defense of an opposing Pokemon, and then have triple Axel to hit it as well. Same thing can also apply to Stomp as well, which can still do good damage as it is. But if you're able to get your boosted basic attack to hit an opposing Pokemon, follow it up with a triple Axel or a Stomp to hit it to do some damage to it, and then you're able to actually do more damage, and then you have a basic attack speed increase for a short time. Basically means that the more the kicks you are able to connect with this move, the more time that you'll have that basic attack speed increase in effect, basically. So the more kicks you hit, the slightly longer distance, the time you'll have for the basic attack speed. And then just like Stomp, Queen Majesty Effects says when you use this move, you get yourself the basic attack speed increase, you get more damage with each kick you connect, and you restore HP with every single kick. So with each kick, you're healing yourself HP with each kick. So the more kicks you're able to connect, not only are you able to get yourself more damage on the to a target with the kicks, and you're also able to increase your basic attack speed for a bit longer based on how many kicks you land, and then you get the HP when you get the Queenie Majesty effect. So something to take note of. And at level 10, when you get the upgrade, it also increases damage dealt by this move, which means you'll do more damage. You have basic cooldown reduction, not basic cool. Yeah, basic attack speed cooldown. So you'll be able to utilize it more. Your basic attack speed will be increased, so your basic attacks will come more frequent, and you'll heal a bit more with this because of the upgrade. So that's something to take note of. So which one of these you should use? I mean, that's up to you guys. I think they're both pretty good, honestly. I might give Stomp another try because this is a move I haven't really utilized that much. I've been playing majorly triple Axel because of the effect that it gives me the basic attack speed. But I might consider trying out Stomp potentially. I'm not sure yet. But that's just me personally. Like, I think both of them are pretty good. Keep in mind though, these moves used to be really, really strong, especially Stomp. I know Stomp was the move that was used a lot. I think it's still pretty good. It's just a matter of how you utilize it now. So, anyways, let's go ahead and go to the next move, which at level 6 you get Tsareena. Now you have a choice between Grassy Glide and Trop Kick. So let's talk about these moves. So Trop Kick is a move that performs a flying kick, dealing damage to an opposing Pokemon it hits, and then decreasing their attack for a short time, basically making them a bit more weaker on the damage output, basically. Opposing Pokemon that make contact with the flying kick's weight receives damage and has their movement speed decreased for a short time. Now, when it says the kick's weight, basically means it makes a little bit of a path, like a little bit of a little little path. After you do your kick, you leave like a little path, and if enemies happen to be in that pathway, they'll take some damage and then they'll be slowed, basically. So they'll have the movement speed decrease for a short time. If they happen to be in this area. Now, if I'm not mistaken, they did nerf the fact. I think they removed the effect in which you would actually yeah, I believe they removed the movement speed slow effect for. Oh no, but that's for Grassy Glide. Never mind. No, it just reduced the slow effect basically. So the slow effect isn't as strong as it used to be, but it definitely could still be enough to make a bit of an impact, of course. So, but that's of course only if if they happen to walk into that wake, or after you use Trop Kick and they happen to be in that wake. That's when they'll have that effects on them, basically. So they'll take a little damage and then have their movement speed decrease for a short time. And then in addition, thanks with the Queenie Majesty's effect, this also grants a user a shield when this move is used. In fact, both moves do that, but we're going to talk about the Grassy Glide in just a second. But this move, but they both give the user a shield. So basically, once you have the Queen Majesty effect and you actually use a Trop Kick to hit a target, you also have the addition to give yourself a shield when this move is used for a short time. So you get yourself a shield. You make the knight. You get to do damage, decrease their attack, slow them down, and then have them take a little bit more damage. And then you get yourself a bit of a shield as well. And then when you get your upgrade at level 12, you get the upgrade to increase damage dealt by this move. So they both were pretty strong. They both have the same effect in which it will give you a shield upon utilizing it with the Queen Majesty effect. So that's something to take note of here. So now let's talk about Grassy Glide. So Grassy Glide is a move that is basically also a dash, just like Drop Kick, but this one has different effects. So this one has the user slide in the designated direction, dealing damage to opposing Pokemon it hits. This is then followed by an attack in the opposite direction, which deals damage to and shoves opposing Pokemon. So basically, you dash and hit a Pokemon, and then it follows up with a second attack that will actually shove them in the opposite direction. So basically, you're bringing your way. Basically, that's how it works. And then just like Drop Kick, it also has the same effect in which if you use this move with the Queen Majesty buff on it, it gives you a shield basically. So and then at level 12, when you get the upgrade, you increase it. You have increased damage dealt by this move. So pretty cool stuff. Honestly, this was a Pokemon, guys, that was really strong. Honestly, it's really strong. So now let's go ahead and talk about his Unite move. So Tsarena's Unite move is the Queen Ascension. So Queen Ascension has the user leap towards a Pokemon from the opposing team, kick it high into the air before showering it with a series of kicks while airborne and dealing damage. So basically, this is a move that it locks onto a target and gets them in the air, and then hits them with a bunch of kicks in the face. And then the moment the user lands on the ground after the series of kicks, it gains HP. And then while it's airborne, while you're in the middle of the Unite, Tsareena and the opposing Pokemon that is being hit by this Unite are not affected by other moves. So let's say if there's a whole team fight going on, and then you Unite somebody, Tsareena and the Pokemon that's being hit by this Unite are basically unaffected. So basically, the opposing the anything that would actually help the enemy Pokemon, like let's say you have a Blissey on the opposing team that uses Safeguard, you can't use Safeguard to get them out of this to save them from this basically, and then vice versa. If they try to attack Tsareena while it's in the middle of his Unite, you can't do that. You can't do that. So that's one thing that I think Tsareena really has going for it, that it can't be touched while it's in its Unite. Unlike Charizard, which can be punished out of its Unite, which is kind of crazy. I think they fixed that though. I could be wrong, but yeah, that's pretty much the idea of Tsarena's Unite. So there you go, guys. That's pretty much all the deep dive on Tsareena. Um, I still think Tsarena's pretty good. You just have to know how to utilize it. In fact, I'm gonna probably try out Stomp later on and see how I feel about it. I'm gonna run some tests with it to see how I feel about Stomp over Triple Axel. But I think Tsareena is still pretty good if you know how to utilize this kit perfectly. But keep in mind that it did receive quite a bit of nerfs, so it's not as tanky as it used to be. Once upon a time, this Pokemon used to be really tanky, especially with the shield effects that you get off of the Drop Kick or Grassy Glide. But now those effects have been weakened, as well as its defenses has also been lowered. It's basically more of an attacker, which it could still do damage. I don't think there was any numbers that really hurt its damage. Although there were some moves I know that they did nerf on it for sure. I know they definitely reduce the effects of stuff like Stomp, stuff like that. But I think Tsareena is still a pretty good Pokemon if you know how to play it right. So, though this is a Pokemon that I think takes a lot of skill to really play, because as it says there, the difficulty of this Pokemon is expert. So you have to really understand how this Pokemon works and how to utilize its kit. So, like, this is a Pokemon that I don't think many people will be able to pick up easily and have some success with it. There are people that you that definitely do play Tsareena really well, and I've seen people play it. It's really good, but you have to know how to utilize this kit properly, especially now since it's been nerfed quite a bit. And I mean, the nerfs were honestly needed for this Pokemon because this Pokemon was heavily dominating the game honestly back then, and I still think it's pretty good, just not as great as it used to be, especially now with the CC that's been roaming around like crazy. So anyways, guys, that's going to be it for this video. Let me know what you guys think of Tsareena. Hopefully, if I missed anything important in this video that I forgot to mention, let me know in the comments, and I will go ahead and pin your comment, of course. And let me know what you guys think overall. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Thank you guys for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I will catch you guys next time. Take care.